Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Tarsh versus Gallo in round 2 lower bracket of the 3rd Asia Pacific tournament. Today we're going to be seeing Cheux, and on the Allied side we have Tarsh with the 7th Armoured, and on the Axis side we have Gallo with the 12th SS Panzer. So Tarsh found his way here due to a draw in the lower bracket round 1, which Duro ceded to him, so he moved on in the tournament. And Gallo got a bye through the lower bracket round 1 due to his opponent not turning up. So that's where we are right now. This map is quite interesting. We've seen it plenty of times before. We've got the open spaces on the bottom side and towards the mid, and then obviously the town engagement on the top side with a little more cover on the very top. Now in terms of these divisions, well, I'm not entirely sure how the 7th Armoured matches up to the 12th SS Panzer, but one thing I do know is that Gallo does not like bringing in the Boy to Cromwell or the Boy to Firefly. I'm not sure if that has changed, but last time I talked to him, he told me basically that he doesn't have the Boy to Cromwell and Boy to Firefly in his division. And I feel like that could definitely be a mistake against the new divisions like the 7th Armoured, because the 7th Armoured is extremely strong in Phase A. They have some very good armour. Staghounds, they have the Stuarts, and I think they also have Cromwells as well. So there's a lot of stuff that really Gallo can't deal with. He has, of course, Pak 38s, but if Tarsh plays smart around them, he could definitely make a lot of ground. And the 20mm autocannon units on the side of Gallo won't really be able to push at any point in Phase A, because yes, they can destroy the half-tracks that Tarsh might be using, but they definitely won't be breaking through the Staghounds and the Stuarts anytime soon. So let's have a look at directly what is going down. It's going to be a Pak 38 on the top side for Gallo here. 2 units of Panzergrenadiers and command infantry going to the town with a 259. I think a 259 is good in close support for infantry. Definitely helps out a lot. 251 with the speed troop. For the mid, it's going to be Aufklärer in the SPW 222s with a AT gun for the bottom side. Another AT gun for the bottom side. Another SPW 222 with Aufklärer, and a command there to give that the extra veterancy. On the side of Tarsh, it's going to be white trucks with the Desert Rats. It's going to be motorised rifles in the M5 half-tracks, and the Stuart Remy back here has the command infantry, and a Staghound is going to be following up. Got M5 half-track heading to the mid with more motorised rifles. Another one there, and on the bottom side it's going to be even more motorised rifles with a Staghound. Okay, so let's see how this engagement goes in the town. The 259 has been revealed. It's really up to Tarsh to use the Staghound to take that out. And once he does, honestly, these half-tracks alongside the Stuart Remy should be able to overrun the Panzergrenadiers quite well. However, driver wounded straight away. Pak 38 getting a good shot off there is going to kill the Staghound straight away. Fantastic job by Gallo to get that into a really good position there in order to make that shot happen. So really good advantage for Gallo in the town right now. I'd like to see more of these 259s come in to really solidify that push. If he gets the Panzergrenadiers to reveal the locations of the Desert Rats and the motorised rifles, he could really put the pain on with more 20mm autocannon units. SPW 222 is going to be pushing into the M5 half-track here in the motorised rifles. This Pak 38 was looking for a shot there, but did lose line of sight. Honestly, these 222s could find a lot of ground in the mid if they manage to take out these half-tracks and just drive straight past the motorised rifles, because those Piats will probably struggle to hit something. Now these Desert Rats, they're opening up with their Bren guns. Ideally, they should be put on return fire, because Desert Rats are really effective at close range. They have 15 HE at close range. That's really something that you can take advantage of, but allowing them to be revealed at longer ranges is not ideal. Pak 38, however, does take out the Stuart Remy. And now we see the 259 getting into line of sight. Oh, it's also going to find a kill onto the half track. This Pack 38 has been doing work. Desert Rats do manage to blow up the 251 on the bottom side of the town. But now we see an infantry engagement occurring between the Panzergrenz, Panzergrenführer, and these Desert Rats and motorized rifles. 259 is going to be coming down there. Might want to look for the surrender onto these Desert Rats before they get into the motorized rifle leader radius. 222 is coming up to reinforce on the top side. You can see that Tarsh is making a little bit of a salient up here, but +1 currently in favour of Gallo-Neal. Reinforcing Staghound is going to be arriving at the town shortly, which should help deal with the 259 here. But this Pack 38 is going to remain a problem as long as it sits in that tree line uncontested. Seems like Tarsh maybe want to use these motorized rifles to take care of those. SBW222, that's going to find the motorized rifles here. If he can pin them down, he can probably fast move and make those guys surrender, which would be a nice move indeed. He then end up actually revealing the M5 half-track there. He could also just go for the kill, of course. More Panzergrenz arriving for the town. Definitely necessary. These Panzergrenz getting low on men. These Panzergrenz aren't engaged at the moment though. And putting the Panzergrenführer in the tower, it seems like an odd choice to me, as it does make him be able to be targeted from multiple directions. Pack 38 there, I think, just bounced the front of the Staghound. Motorized rifles have opened up. That Pack 38 now going to be hitting another Staghound there. These Pack 38s are actually really good counters to these Staghounds, because the Staghounds at range only have 1 HE. It's a lot like the Stuarts. So they barely have any suppression on the Pack 38s here. But that Staghound did manage to kill off the 222, I assume. Was forced to fall back by the Pack 38. So more Panzergrenz arriving here. Can't really afford them to have them in the street though, needs to get them into cover. It's all very well having them there beside the burnt out 259, but they are taking unnecessary suppression. Another Staghound arriving in the mid, and that's pretty much what the 7th Armoured's about in Phase A. All of the mobile armour in the form of these Staghounds. Even the Abbot of Chantry that you can get is like the fastest Cromwell. So, there you go. Desert Rats have arrived. They almost got killed before they unloaded, but not quite. That's thanks to the white truck that they come in. 258 can be able to get out of line of sight of the Staghound. But so far, things mostly in Gallo-Neal's favour in this town. And I know that his strategy, since he doesn't use the Boy to Cromwell or Boy to Firefly, is really to just defend or not be too aggressive in Phase A, and then really use the power of the division in Phase B and C to make ground. So the Panther Ds and of course the Befehl Panthers and so on later on. Pack 38 nearly takes out an M5 half-track there. I think honestly if the Panzergrenführer could cover that, it would be ideal. But in this case, that is a big mistake. Letting the command die there does just lose him a unit of Panzergrenz, and that is not good. However, another Staghound down. Pack 38. This has paid itself off like 3 times over now, at least. And that is a really, really nice AT gun to have. It's 1 health now as well, so makes it even more deadly, of course. New command infantry is already on the way. And they are now covering the Pack 38, so that should allow it to be a little bit more accurate. Accurate enough to hopefully find a couple more kills. Panzergrenz engaging the Desert Rats there from a distance. What's being pinged down here? Looks like Tarsh is pointing out the Pack 38 moving forwards. That is covered easily by the 222 and this half-track. Motorized rifles pinned down in the process. Pack 38 once again has line of sight, or did briefly I think, onto the Stuart Recce. S259 is currently slamming the Desert Rats. Taking him down to 1 health there. That is nasty. 223 going to be brought in to provide even more command to the town here. I like that a lot. Solidifying his command radius on all of these units is ideal, because it will allow him to maintain control. And once again, another Staghound going down. This Pack 38 it's been doing so much work. Only just now has a 3-inch mortar arrived to take care of that. So Tarsh a bit slow on the gun there to find a unit that can take care of this Pack 38 that really has been causing him trouble. And this is all Gallo Neal needs to get aggressive with his 20 mils. And we do see a Spitfire Mark 9 did come in with the 10 HE power bomb. Bombed the Pack 38. That's now being put under pressure by the Staghound. The Pack 38 on the bottom side is going to get strafed as well. So the Pack 38 is starting to be dealt with quite well by Tarsh's Air Force. We'll have to see how long that lasts. This Pack 38 did just manage to take out the half-track there. So this Panzergren definitely needs to move away. 223 is actually going to go down to the 50 cal fire of the Stuart Recce. That is one deadly thing about the 7th Armoured, is these Stuart Recces with those 50 cals and the 30 cals can do a lot of damage. Like this engagement here, from the 259 to the Stuart Recce, goes well in favour of the Stuart Recce. You can see that here. This 20mm autocannon can't penetrate the front of the Stuart Recce. You'll just have to back off there and maybe try and get a bit closer if you can. Desert Rats though, cleaning up some Panzergrens here. And they might be able to move through and kill off this unit of Panzergrens as well. And also the Panzergren Führer, which would be really, really nice. Now Panzergrens are moving up on the top side, but I'm not entirely convinced that an entire Panzergren squad would be needed here. Maybe just a half-track. Half-cladder moving forwards and revealing the motorised rifles along the way. 3-inch mortar is going to be trying to mortar those Panzergrens as they move through. The Stuart Recce really kind of saving the day at the moment. Putting a lot of pain onto these Panzergrens. So the +1 continues for Gallo Neal at the moment. Although 222 going to go down to the Staghound here in the centre. Half track is getting aggressive, one shot by the Staghound. And where is this game going to go? We've just moved into phase B. So Tarsh is going to pick up his highest income phase. Gallo Neal moving into the first phase in which he can bring in Panthers. We'll have to see if he decides to bring any in. The Panther Ds that you can get in phase B aren't always the best. They definitely aim very slowly, but they have a lot of firepower at the 1,200 meter range. Down here, Pack 38. What's that going to be engaging the Staghound here? Another Staghound going to go down to a Pack 38. I'm surprised how well these Pack 38s have been allowed to do throughout so far. More punishment from these mortars, I think, is definitely necessary, especially on the bottom side, especially when he has recon that can spot them. Come to Tarsh's point of view. I reckon these Recce could have seen that Pack 38, so engaging that with the Staghound, big mistake. Motorised rifle leader here, going to get hammered by the 20mm, but that's going to run out of ammo soon. Gallo Neal's going to have to be aware of that and be very careful actually. Panzergren's now getting mortared. That mortar's almost out of ammunition as well. Tarsh is, I think both players are going to need some form of supply at some point. But it looks like Tarsh is going to go for an overwhelming amount of Desert Rats here to break through this town. And honestly, there's not much in his way. However, saying that, Panzerfaust is going to kill one of his Desert Rats outright, which is not good at all. Also, these Desert Rats not being in a building just yet might allow these Panzergren Führer to kill them off, which would be really bad. Grenade does come out of the Pioneers and kills them off anyway. And that was probably one of the worst infantry rushes I think I've seen in a while. I thought, oh, there's 4 infantry, 4 desert rats coming in. Surely they're going to clean out this town. But certainly, Tarsh made it very difficult for himself by losing 1 to a Panzerfaust and the other one by not getting them into cover. That is big mistakes. Big mistakes indeed. Another unit of desert rats went down there, I think, to a pioneer. Motorized rifle actually manages to get a Piat kill, guys. That is something to point out for sure. Let's see, shall we? More infantry on the way. See, this is what you don't want to see. Ideally, these points would have been able to be spent on something else, but not the case. Cromwell 4 OP coming in. That's going to help clean up the rest of the forces in this town. Fortunately, desert rats are pretty strong, and in this case, he was able to take out the pioneers there with a surrender. But you just want to get the smoke down from the desert rats and move them up into these buildings. Just keep making ground onto the Panzergrens, keeping them covered though from the machine gun fire as you go. And that's quite simply what Tarsh isn't doing. 257 is being brought in from Gallo-Neil there. And a Jagdpanzer has actually arrived on this bottom side. I forgot that the 12th SS Panzer had some decent Jagdpanzers. A lot cheaper than Panthers. And still provide that 1,200 meter range. Also, they're quite high veterancy. You can see that one there. 2-star veterancy. Very nice. But overwhelming amount of half-tracks and infantry are going to be pressing down towards Gallo-Neil, but he's still maintaining the +1 at the moment. And if he can hold on till phase C, I reckon Gallo-Neil can hit very hard. Jagdpanzer going to be taking on this Stuart Recce. Interesting that that was ignored after it fired. It found the pin and the driver wound, but then continued to move. I mean, that's very odd. It probably should have finished it off. Anyway, 257 going to be coming in with the mortar fire onto this infantry. But there isn't too much to stand in the way at the moment. Pioneers might be able to take care of an infantry unit or two with their grenades if they're allowed. But as soon as the machine gun fire from all of these vehicles gets on target, it's going to make things very difficult indeed. So these half-tracks are going to be arriving with some Panzergrens. Panzergrens really just need to get into cover as soon as possible. Any infantry that arrives in a town has no excuse to not be in a building unless a grenade has just been thrown in there. These pioneers going to be lobbing a grenade, put them straight into these motorized rifles, take them down to 3 health. See the Panzergrens being forced back on the top side here. Now they are on their own. Look at the amount of forces in this town. Wow. That's a lot of forces. Imagine a Karl Galat strike on this from the Festung. That would have been absolutely insane. Anyway, we have some off-map coming in onto Gallo-Neil's units here. Not really going to hit too much, but that's because there's not much here to hit. It's only a matter of time really until Tarsh realises that and pushes all the way through. Assuming that he gets aggressive for once. Motorized rifles still engaging. We see the desert rats being hit by the mortar fire. 2 mortars now. Feld Panzer IV. I think needs to probably stay back from the town. That I feel is getting a little bit too close for comfort there. Because I think sieging the town at this point is fine. Gallo-Neil does have a +2. So he could easily just have a couple of Panzer IVs, cover the edge of the town, whilst he continues to make ground across the open here with the Jagdpanzer, which has been working out very well for him so far. Now the motorized rifles here are going to get a Piat shot into the half-track. Alcala will reveal those as well when they get close. Not for long though. Motorized rifles making short work of the Aufkläder there. See if the Jagdpanzer can finish those off. If not, it'll be up to the Panzergrenz to move into that tree line and do the job. On this very bottom side, 222 has broken through. +1 still for Gallo-Neil. So the main things we've got to watch out for here are the engagements between the Cromwells and the Panzer IVs. If the Cromwells can find kills onto these Panzer IVs, then things will go very badly for Gallo-Neil quite quickly indeed. However, if the Panzer IVs get the kills, then that's just more value for money. And well, that was a mistake. Pretty sure that was on a reverse order, so it wasn't going to attack anything, and it reversed straight into line of sight of the Cromwell 7. Got itself killed. That's one Panzer IV down. One left to go. If Tarsh can kill this one, things are going to fall apart very quickly, like I mentioned before. Cromwell 7, pretty fast to aim. Not going to be fast enough to get the kill though. Panzer IV returns the kill. That makes things a little less worrying for Gallo-Neil at the moment. Jagdpanzer still doing work here. That's going to take out the half track. Has pinned down and forced back those motorized rifles. +1 for Gallo-Neil, but it's coming back in the favour of Tarsh now. 49% territory. And he needs 1% more to stop this +1 from Gallo-Neil. Which is quite the turnaround, considering it was literally +2 a second ago. But it's mainly due to the salient on the top side, which looks to be closed by the 259 and 258 here. This off-map is actually placed really well this time. Has a chance to pin the Panzer IV, pin a couple squads of Panzergrenz. And when you can take out Panzergrenz easily, it definitely helps your infantry trade very well. And where the availability of infantry for the 7th Armoured is actually quite good for an armoured division, you can definitely take advantage of that. Spitfire is going to be coming in on the bottom side. Bombs away. Onto the pack 38. Going to be pinning that down, taking it down to 2 health. Half track goes down to the 6-pounder. We do see the 258 go down here. 259 I think also died. Yeah, close range. This Cromwell 4 really doing the job. Cleaning up those units on the top side. This artillery starting to really hurt Panzer IV here. Does force it to fall back now. Both these Panzergrenz are being pinned down. These guys are pinned down as well due to the motorized rifles. And this could be a bunch of surrenders. Okay, well that's one unit of infantry dead again before they unload, which is definitely a bad habit to have. Almost happened again there. Tarsh just getting the motorized rifles out in time. That was very, very greedy indeed. And it might cost him actually, because now he doesn't really have anything that he can use to surrender these forces. That Panzer IV definitely holding strong. We're going to have to see if it can take out this Cromwell 4. Very important that it does. Otherwise things could go very badly. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to anytime soon. Weapon jam for the Panzer IV-H. Cromwell 4 OP. Gonna be doing the job there. Cleaning that up. Panzer IV just can't fire back anymore. And that's actually really bad for Gallo-Neil. We do see Kretschmar arriving. He's going to be engaging the Staghound at close range. Staghound will fire first. Oh, that Staghound definitely had a chance to penetrate, but bounced. Going to close a little bit of territory on the very top. 2-star Panzer IVs all over the shop. But with the arrival of 2 Fireflies with 2-star veterancy, this could get ugly. Could get very ugly indeed. But Gallo-Neil still with a significant lead. 1,120 points. So this Jagdpanzer going to be trying to engage the Firefly. Not the best engagement, honestly. Got about 13 AP versus that Firefly's 11 armor. The Firefly has 17 AP versus the 14 armor. A little bit more penetration chance on the side of the Firefly. Ammo storage hit on the Jagdpanzer is going to be falling back and into line of sight of the Firefly. It's only a matter of time until that gets the kill, especially with the driver knockout there. With the loss of this Jagdpanzer in the mid, that could really affect Gallineel's front line, because currently it's being held by 2 units of 2 Panzergrenz, and this one on the top is dead now. It's up to the half track here to hold the ground. Firefly did end up killing off the Jagdpanzer. Kretschmer going to be taking on these motorized rifles at close range, should be able to absolutely demolish them. Got some off map coming in here onto the half track. Not going to hit the mark. There is forces building up on this bottom side actually, and with that Jagdpanzer out the way, that does actually leave a big hole here that the Cromwell 7 and this Recon Stuart can really exploit. You see the M5 half track moving aggressively, because these Laufkleider are near the road they're going to get bumped into and spotted. Same with this Panzergrenführer, and once those die, look how much ground there is here for Tarsh to take. That is insane. Tarsh has finally realised that he can be aggressive, and the map's going to tell him that too, as it swings completely in favour of Tarsh. There is no Panzer IV on this bottom side to save him. He's in a really bad spot right now. Firefly 5 as well has arrived in the town, and that can deal with these Panzer IVs very easily. That Firefly moves up an inch, it will get line of sight onto Kretschmer. We'll be able to take him out. We do see a Panzer IV here, going to try and plug the gap. But Tarsh might be pushing a +3 for a little while. With only a +2, it looks like the game considers it a draw. Saying that, now states that Tarsh will win in 15 minutes and 14 seconds. So Gallineel's really going to need to keep this at a +1. Now we've moved into phase C, he should have an advantage moving forwards, but it's interesting that we haven't seen a Firefly yet. And not stopping Kretschmer sooner is going to allow the Cromwell to win out this engagement at close range. Kretschmer surrenders. Shameful display. Panzer IV, going to be trying to deal with the Stuart Recce, but with the tank swinging around on the top side, things are going to get difficult very quickly if we don't see a Panther in here anytime soon. I think, honestly, Gallineel's reliance on these Panzer IVs has kind of stemmed the amount of damage he can do against the 7th Armoured, and you definitely need Panthers, because the 7th Armoured is like the only division that can bring in 3-star Fireflies, and those things are absolutely killer. Like, imagine how strong like a 3-star 17 pounder is, and then put it on wheels or on tracks, and that's what you got. So in this case, 17 pounder 2-star 17 pounder does take out the Panzer IV on the bottom side, and just makes things so difficult. Because now it's just the Pioneers and the Speertrupp standing between Tarsh and a +3. And Tarsh does find the +3 anyway. Just the value for money out of the 7th Armoured here is just insane. Especially with the amount of Staghounds that he lost early on. You'd think it would have been impossible for Gallineel to lose. But moving into phase B, he really took advantage of the overwhelming income. And now in phase C, it seemed as though he saved up for a couple Fireflies and brought them in straight away. And now they really are paying off. The Panzer IVs just can't stand up. Another Panzer IV going down up here. Whitman has been brought in. Can he save the day? He kind of has to at this point, because otherwise Tarsh will be securing his victory very shortly indeed, with a +3 on the board. It's going up to 70, maybe 71% even. Territory lead. 75% would be a +4. And that would definitely mean things end very quickly. This ME-109 G6R6. Strafing the wrong target, actually. I think it was strafing behind onto the road here, rather than into the trees. Do you see Whitman take out a couple of half-tracks? It's a start, I guess. These 257s going to try and get down some smoke, but Tarsh going to be taking out that supply. Stopping those from reloading now. Panzer IV is going to try and get a bit closer to gain an advantage. Or at least nullify the advantage that Firefly has. On the bottom side, 17-pounder once again going to kill another unit out of Gallo-Neal. The speed troop dying means that Gallo-Neal has nothing to spot the 17-pounder. I think it's only a matter of time until Whitman just drives into that as well. Do see some infantry on the way. But Gallo-Neal just doesn't have the forces to push Tarsh back anymore. Seems like his infantry availability is starting to run dry. And there's no way he's taking back the town with tanks, but he might be able to take back the open. It really depends on how Whitman does. And when Whitman's being shot by a 3-star 17-pounder, well, not sure he's going to last very long at all. So Gal's going to be reversing away from that, using these trees as cover. So not dying just yet. So yeah, I'm surprised because I feel like more 20mm autocannon units in Phase A would have worked really well alongside the PaK-38s. Especially considering how well the PaK-38s did, right? Oh, nice hit there. Panzer IV, track will destroy onto the Firefly. With the help of the mortars, might even pin it. Never mind, going to be doing the job itself. Can the Panzer IV here get the kill? Yes, it will. Fireflies are, however, coming down from the bottom side. Now pushing into range of this Panzer IV now. Half tracks have been revealed. Only a matter of time until they both go down. Tarsh is really sweeping the field right now of any units. Panzer IV ideally wants to get into close range with this Firefly so that he can find another kill like he did on the top side here. But with 2 Cromwells breathing down his neck and a Stuart 5, it's not going to last very long. It's only 5% territory lead in favour of Tarsh, 76 even. That is just nuts. Another Tiger is on the way. In fact, we haven't seen a Panther, especially against the 7th Armoured. Really bewilders me, honestly, because the amount of armour presence this division can put out is absolutely insane. Even in Phase C, if you have Cromwell 3s on here, you can bring in a lot of them because they cost 110 each and you get 110 points per minute. So the amount of Cromwell 3s you can pump out in the later phases is quite insane. And now we're seeing these death balls of armour move up. It looks like this Tiger wants to try and engage the Staghound, the Cromwell here, but Gallo-Neal's not microing this properly. There's no way that that should have moved into line of sight, not on an attack move order, because now it's just going to get pinned and probably killed off because of it. That is a shame. Yeah, that was fast moving in. Ideally, should have attack moved from around here so that as it broke into line of sight of maybe the Stuart and the Cromwell 3, it was fine, but a Cromwell 7 is going to get the kill. Whitman died on the bottom side, probably to the Firefly, I guess. And Gallo-Neal officially has 3 units left on the map and is going to surrender. 31 minutes and 46 seconds it took for Tarsh to defeat Gallo-Neal. 3,495 kills to 1,765 losses. So some questionable plays on both sides, especially Tarsh's infantry play into the town with all of those desert rats. That was very strange indeed. But other than that, solid performance based around the armour, which did end up paying off in the end, since Gallo didn't really, in my opinion, bring in the right units to counter. So in terms of kills, Staghounds didn't really do very well in Phase A. The Pack 38 took out so many, but this 3-inch mortar came in, cleaned up a couple of them. Should have came in a lot sooner though. Staghounds kind of cleaned up some half-tracks here and there, 20mm autocannon unit there. Motorized rifles got 3 Panzergrenz kills. They must have been relatively low on men. Cromwell 7 killed the Befehl Panzer 4. Cromwell 4. That did well. Took out Kretschner and this Panzer 4H. Mainly due to tank miss micro on the side of Gallo O'Neill actually. A lot of the tanks that were lost were due to miss micro. Most of the Panzer 4s. Makes you wonder how well Gallo O'Neill could have done if he was paying a little bit more attention to that micro. But either way, this Pack 38, what a hero that was early game. Took out 3 Staghounds, the Stuart Recce, 2 half-tracks. The majority, actually, of the initial forces that Tarsh put into the town. And that did allow Gallo O'Neill to secure that ground until later on, when the overwhelming amount of infantry arrived that he couldn't really deal with. Like, those extended infantry engagements aren't really something that the 12th SS catered for. Panzer 4H did end up killing that Firefly on the top side there. This was probably the only one that did well throughout the entire game. Whitman, depressing kill list. And the other Tiger E didn't even make it onto the list. So there's that. But either way, guys, that is game. Commiserations to Gallo O'Neill is going to be knocked out of the tournament. Tarsh will be moving on to the lower bracket, round 3. That's all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.